Welcome back to Crypto Today, Everything Decentralized. I'm your host, Fernando Bu, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about why I see potential in NPXS and why I personally like Pundi X, the team, and NPXS, the token. But we must always keep in mind that being an investor, or rather a speculator in the crypto space, is extremely risky, and you could lose everything you put in a matter of minutes or seconds for that matter. On that note, never make any financial decision based on any of my content or any of the content you see out there, but rather try to do your own research and come to your own conclusion why you believe that the team could execute the project and the goals they're aiming for, and it could essentially do better in the future. As I am merely sharing projects that I personally like and believe that they would one day be something. And some of the ways that I see that and make that decision is essentially looking for an active team backing up the token and what they offer, and how you can apply it to in everyday scenarios, and what the team is doing to reach those goals, and perhaps a couple more questions and things I look for. However, for the sake of making this video not too long, I'm just gonna say those for now. Now let's move on. This is why I personally am taking my chances with Pundi X and NPXS. Pundi X offers a point of sale system software that goes by the name of XPOS, which to publish an application on it, it requires NPXS tokens, and NPXS is the default token for payments within the applications. Now, on top of that, they charge 30% handling fees in NPXS, which then are burned. And if you think about it, if this was to be used in a larger scale, then that means that those NPXS tokens that are being burned would essentially, in theory, boost up the price of NPXS, the token. Now, let's just go over here what the XPOS is. Scroll down real quick. Um, Also, they are said to accept Visa and MasterCard payments. However, they still need more bank payment gateways in order to make that a smooth execution. And in my opinion, that is an extremely big downside to the XPOS device currently and the software that they provide, because for the time being, the chances of anybody paying with crypto is extremely low, and most people want to use Visa or MasterCard or fiat payments, which would in theory have no effect on the price of NPXS whatsoever. Therefore, it really doesn't matter that it's there, but I think that's something that comes hand in hand with crypto mass adoption in general. Now, the device software also allows purchase and sell of crypto assets, and it apparently does it with ease, to the point where like you can be new to it and you are able to still execute these sells and buys and use of crypto. And I think that's pretty cool that they do make it easier. Now, the device also has NPXS rewards, advertisement, and app distribution. Now, let's look at some locations that you can currently find the XPOS device at, which is on their own website. They show you the map. I think that's pretty cool too. Now, what the XPOS device seems to be doing fairly well in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which let me zoom out and find it. It's right over here. So you see all these blue dots. These are all places that you can walk in and use the XPOS device. Now, that is close to 23 locations, I believe. And the cool thing is that they're all clustered right here. So the people that live around might get curious and essentially expand more. That's what we would hope for. Now, some of the dots here have several locations, as you can see right here. Now, let me zoom out so you can see everything. So it's kind of scattered throughout. See, Venezuela has a good amount of XPOS systems, but they're all kind of scattered except this little bunch right here. And some around the US, Canada, of course, just around the world in general. So it's definitely a work in progress, but I think as more deployed, it could essentially be a good thing if all goes well. Now, let's keep in mind that most likely than not, these people again will be using cash payments and Visa payments as opposed to crypto payments. But I think that at the time it makes sense to deploy more and excuse me, to deploy more XPOS devices and integrate the software with other existing POS device making companies, because this pretty much that's what lies the reasoning to me, to my attraction towards this project. Because imagine that when crypto goes full on mainstream, the more XPOS devices or POS systems with Pundi X's software deployed would in theory be used, and if all would to go well, then Pundi X could make the transition to using your crypto at everyday stores a smooth one. So anyone could pretty much go ahead and buy a soda or water bottle. That's pretty much the goal there. But in order for that to work, crypto as a whole needs to go more mainstream, and people need to be more aware, and the ease of use has to be a good one. There has to be everybody should be able to do it, as opposed to at the moment you have to download a couple things and learn certain ways to do it. This would eliminate that for the everyday consumer that just wants to, like, I just want to use it and that's that. And I think that's why I hold personally a small amount, and I'm going to keep believing in it until it either something good happens or it just completely goes away, which again is extremely risky. But always remember, speculating in crypto is extremely risky, and it's extremely volatile. And just look for projects, in my opinion, just look for projects and teams that show some potential, and that's essentially what I try to do. One very important thing to keep in mind is that if Pundi X gives up on NPXS, there would be an extremely low possibility of NPXS surviving. With that being said, Pundi X, the team, could essentially continue to do what they do without using NPXS. Hence, why any kind of investment speculation in the crypto space is extremely risky, because Pundi X doesn't necessarily need NPXS to do what they do. So that's why I've said that until Pundi X themselves give up on NPXS, then I still believe it's worth looking at. But I just feel like, again, some projects in the crypto space are more solid than others, and you can kind of tell the difference between them. Anyhow, that pretty much is it for this video, but let me know what projects you see potential in and your thoughts on Pundi X and NPXS. And I will see you all in the next one.